The truth about singer Ricky Martin. Enrique Martin Morales, born December 24, 1971, commonly known as Ricky Martin, is a Puerto Rican singer, actor and author. Martin began his career at age 12 with the all-boy pop group Menudo. After 5 years with the group, he released several Spanish-language solo albums throughout the 1990s. He also acted on stage and on TV in Mexico, becoming a modest star in the country. In 1994 he starred on the American TV soap opera General Hospital, playing a Puerto Rican singer. In early 1999, after releasing several albums in Spanish, Martin performed The Cup of Life at the 41st Grammy Awards show, which became a catalyst in bringing Latin pop to the forefront of the U.S. music scene. Following its success, Martin released Livin La Vida Loca, which helped him obtain enormous success worldwide and is generally seen as the song that began the Latin pop explosion of 1999 and made the transition easier for other Spanish-speaking artists to move into the English-speaking market. Since its release, the song has sold over 8 million copies, making it one of the best-selling singles of all time. His first English-language album, also titled Ricky Martin, has sold 22 million copies and is one of the best-selling albums of all time. His other studio albums include Mi Amoros, 1993, El Medio Viver, 1995, Vídeo, 1998, Sound Loaded, 2000, Almas del Silencio, 2003, Life, 2005, Música plus Alma plus Sexo, 2011, and A Queen Quiere Escuchar, 2015. Life and career. Early life, 1971 to 1983, Martin was born on December 24, 1971, in San Juan, Puerto Rico, the son of Nerida Morales, an accountant, and Enrique Martin Negroni, a psychologist. He was the second youngest sibling. His parents divorced when he was 2 years old, and Martin spent much of his childhood shifting between his father's home in the suburbs of University Gardens, a suburban middle-class neighborhood of San Juan, and his paternal grandmother's house nearby. Martin has two older maternal half-brothers, Fernando and Angel Fernandez, and two older paternal half-brothers, Eric and Daniel Martin, and a younger paternal half-sister Vanessa Martin. 8. Martin in an interview with Vanity Fair described his origins as Spanish, with Basque and Jewish ancestry from his great-grandparents, plus some Corsican through his paternal grandmother. Martin grew up in a Roman Catholic home and was an altar boy throughout his childhood. He began singing at age 6, using wooden kitchen spoons as pretend microphones. He often interpreted songs by Menudo as well as English-language rock groups such as Led Zeppelin, Journey, and Rio Speedwagon. His mother's side of the family was musically inclined, and his maternal grandfather was a poet, which inspired young Martin to write songs. Martin later reflected on his time spent with his family as a child. Every time I find myself in front of an audience, be it 20 people or 100,000, once again I feel the energy that consumed me back at the family gatherings of my youth. After discovering a newspaper advertisement about auditions for commercials with his father, 9-year-old Martin began appearing in Puerto Rican television commercials for products such as soft drinks, toothpaste, and fast food restaurants. In a year and a half, he starred in 11 commercials. Menudo, 1984 to 1990. Menudo Rayo de Luna, 1984, MENUOOO. At age 13, Martin made his recording debut on the song Rayo de Luna, from Menudo's 1984 album, Evolution. Problems playing this file? See Media Help. After achieving a small amount of fame in Puerto Rico for his work in television commercials, Martin auditioned for membership in Puerto Rican boy band Menudo. Although the executives enjoyed his dancing and singing at his first 2 auditions, Martin was rejected because he was too short. By the third audition, his persistence impressed executives, and in 1984, 12-year-old Martin became a member. A month after joining Menudo, he made his debut performance with the group at the Luis A. Fair Performing Arts Center in San Juan. During this performance, he inadvertently disobeyed the choreography by walking around the stage when it was planned that he would stay still, and was chastised by the band manager after the show. The mistake was such a big deal that from that moment on, never again did I move when I wasn't supposed to move. That was the discipline of Menudo, You either did things the way you were told or you were not part of the group. The song A Signature Pendiente from Almas del Silencio, 2003, was inspired by the first time Martin left Puerto Rico to tour with Menudo. Although Martin enjoyed traveling and performing on stage with Menudo, he found the band's busy schedule and strict managing to be exhausting and later reflected that the experience cost him his childhood. He considered leaving the group while on tour in Brazil, but ultimately decided to stay out of fear of media backlash and being sued for breach of contract. Martin also began struggling with his sexuality, noting the stark contrast between his status as a sex symbol and his own emotions. Despite this, Martin acknowledged his opportunity to have so many amazing experiences with so many amazing people during his time with the group. He developed an interest in philanthropy when the group became UNICEF ambassadors, often working with impoverished children in third world countries. His experiences as an ambassador affected him greatly and inspired him to continue working with charities later in life. By 1987, Menudo's record sales began to decline and the group changed its image, adopting an Edgear look and performing more rock-influenced songs. The band released the album Somos los Hijos del Rock in Spanish, and to appeal to the Menudo's Filipino fanbase, the group released In Action, recording songs in both English and Tagalog. After recording 11 albums with the group, Martin left Menudo in July 1989 at age 17, hoping to rest and evaluate his career path. He performed his final show with the group at the same venue as his first performance as a member. Martin returned to Puerto Rico to graduate from high school, and 13 days after turning 18, he moved to New York City to celebrate his financial independence. Since he was a minor during his time as a member of Menudo, Martin was not allowed to access his own bank accounts. He was accepted into New York University's Tisch School of the Arts, but months before classes began, Martin dropped out and moved to Mexico City to perform in the play Mama Ama El Rock, Mom Loves Rock. Acting in first two solo albums, 1991 to 1994, while he was performing on stage in Mama Ama El Rock, a producer in the audience took notice of Martin's acting and offered him a role in the Mexican telenovela Alcanza una Estrella after the show. 34. He also joined the cast for the second season of the show, titled Alcanza una Estrella 2. A film based on the TV series entitled Más que Alcanza una Estrella was also produced, in which Martin starred and earned an El Heraldo Award in 1993 for his role. The show centered around a fictional musical group called Muñecos de Papel, in which Martin played Pablo Laredo, one of the 6 members. The group toured several cities in Mexico and recorded 2 albums. Although he had hoped to take a break from touring after Menudo, Martin enjoyed the experience because he got along with the other members well. I was so excited about getting back into the music world that I didn't care what the conditions were. All of the hard work and passion I had exerted was finally now starting to come to fruition, and music came back to my life powerfully and definitively. Martin, on recording his debut album. In 1990, Martin was signed to Sony Discos, the Sony Music Entertainment's Latin imprint. Eager to make his first solo album, Martin signed the contract without reading it and inadvertently signed a deal in which he would only be awarded 1 cent of royalties for each album sold. Despite viewing the contract as unfair, Martin referred to the record as the start of something phenomenal for him. After working around the clock to finish filming Alcanza una Estrella 2 and recording music, Martin released his debut solo album, the Spanish-language Ricky Martin, in November 1991. Ricky Martin included the singles, Fuego Contra Fuego and El Amor de mi Vida. Fuego Contra Fuego was certified gold in Mexico, Argentina, Puerto Rico, and the United States. To promote the album, Martin toured throughout Latin America, which the singer referred to as an indescribable feeling, almost like coming home. After the success of Ricky Martin and its subsequent tour, Martin's record company met him with acclaimed producer Juan Carlos Calderón on a second solo album, Mi Amarás. Although Martin felt very grateful for the opportunity to work with Calderón, he noted, "I always felt that that record was more his than mine." Released in May 1993, Mi Amarás features a Spanish-language cover of the Laura Branigan song Self-Control, titled Que Dia es Hoy. In his review, Alex Henderson of AllMusic wrote, the CD isn't without its pleasures. But on the whole, Mi Amores is too glossy, too calculated, and much too contrived for its own good. In 1994, Martin's agent encouraged him to move to Los Angeles to act in an American sitcom called Getting By. The show was cancelled after 2 seasons, but soon after, Martin was given the role of singer-bartender Miguel Morris on the soap opera General Hospital. Martin felt that he lacked chemistry with the rest of the General Hospital cast, and observed that people treated him differently because of his Puerto Rican accent. At the time, it was relatively uncommon for Hispanic people to appear on American television, and people suggested that he take accent reduction classes, which he refused. It was during this time, however, that Martin began his first committed relationship with a man. He stopped fearing his sexuality, and soon came out to his mother, who was supportive of him. However, after the relationship ended, Martin locked feelings even deeper inside, and began dating women again. He recalled, "I already felt it was hard to be a Latino in Hollywood. What could have been more difficult than being Latino and gay?" Medio Viver, Vuelve, and Breakthrough, 1995 to 1998. In 1995, Martin refocused on his music career, and began work on his third album, Medio Viver. The first single, the ballad Te Extraño, Te Olvido, Te Amo, written by the producer of Linda Thomas, Carlos Lara, was reminiscent of his earlier work. With the song, Martin furthered his expansion from Latin American and Spanish-speaking audiences to the European and Asian markets. However, the record also made a shift from his traditional ballad-style compositions to a more risky fusion of music centered around traditional Latin sounds, epitomized by the song Maria. Taken aback by the starkly different musical style, record label executives felt that the song would ruin Martin's career. Despite this, Maria was chosen as the album's second single, and became a breakthrough hit, reaching #1 in France, Spain, Germany, Belgium, Holland, Switzerland, Finland, Italy, Turkey, and the entire continent of South America. With Medio Viver, Martin was credited, along with singers Chowan and Mark Anthony, for popularizing the music of Puerto Rico and Spain. The album has sold over 3 million copies worldwide. In a 1996 interview with the Miami Herald, Martin expressed an interest in performing on Broadway. Days after the interview was released, Martin received a phone call from producer Richard J. Alexander, offering him the role of Marius Pontmercy in the play Les Miserables. After the conclusion of a worldwide tour in support of Medio Viver, Martin returned to New York to appear in the play in an 11-week run. He greatly enjoyed the experience, calling his time in the play an honor and the role of his life. Martin continued to tour after the conclusion of the show's run, and noted that his audiences were growing in both size and enthusiasm. In 1997, Martin was invited to the prestigious Sanremo Music Festival in Sanremo, Italy. After landing in Milan, Martin's scheduled helicopter trip to Sanremo had to be postponed due to poor weather conditions. Hoping to arrive at the festival on time, Martin and his crew drove through the mountainous terrain at over 120 miles per hour. The car then turned too quickly and flipped over. However, none of us had more than a couple of scratches and bruises, and he arrived at the festival on time by taxi later that day. In the summer of 1997, Martin embarked on a tour of Spain, performing 45 shows in 36 cities. While on tour, Martin returned to the studio to record his fourth album, Vuelve, 1998. He called the experience of touring and recording at the same time brutal and incredibly intense. As he was finishing the record, the singer was contacted by FIFA to write a song for the 1998 World Cup. Martin subsequently wrote La Copa de la Vida with Casey Porter and Draco Rosa. He performed the song at the World Cup final in the Stade de France on July 12, 1998. The performance, which was broadcast to over 1 billion viewers in 187 countries, was described as a global moment for Latin pop. La Copa de la Vida reached #1 on the charts around the world and went gold and platinum in various countries. It was awarded Pop Song of the Year at the 1999 Lo Nuestro Awards. The title track and the ballad Perdido Sin Ti both hit #1 on the Hot Latin Songs. Further singles included La Bomba, Por Arriba, Por Abajo and Coraznado. Vuelve spent 26 weeks at #1 on the Billboard Top Latin Albums. It became Martin's first top 40 album on the Billboard 200 in the United States, where it was certified platinum by the RIAA. The album also went to #1 in Spain and Norway, and sold over 8 million copies worldwide. Martin was nominated for his first Grammy Award for Vuelve in the category of Best Latin Pop Album, and was booked to sing on the 41st Grammy Awards live TV broadcast. His acclaimed performance of La Copa de la Vida earned Martin an unexpected standing ovation and introduced him to the mainstream American audience. Being aware of performing on the Grammy, he said that, "The excitement is more than being nominated for the award. The audience in front of me are people who are hard to please. Sting, Madonna, Luciano Pavarotti. To get the acceptance of your peers really means a lot." Martin won the Grammy Award later that evening, and even superstars Madonna and Sting went backstage to congratulate him. His appearance sparked nationwide interest in Latin music. Writing for Billboard on April 24, 1999, Michael Paoletta noted, "In the weeks since it seems like every record label exec has been on a heated search for the next Latin hottie." Crossover to English, 1999 to 2002. Ricky Martin Livin La Vida Loca, 1999, MENUOOO, problems playing this file? See Media Help. After receiving commercial success throughout Asia, Europe, and Latin America, Martin prepared his first English album in 1999 in an attempt to cross over to the United States market. 66, the self-titled album, which debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 and sold 661,000 copies in its first week of release, became the most successful album debut on the Billboard charts by a Hispanic artist. It contained material by writers and producers such as Desmond Child, Diane Warren, William Orbit, George Noriega and his longtime childhood friend Draco Rosa. The album also featured special guests, Madonna on the Spanish-English duet Be Careful, Cuidado con mi corazón, and Medja on Private Emotion. 2 weeks after the album's release, Martin was featured on the cover of Time with the title Latin Music Goes Pop. Before the album's release, Janet Jackson collaborated with Ricky Martin for the Latin American version of Ask for More, a promotional single and commercial released as part of an advertising campaign for soft drink company Pepsi. The first and most prominent single was Livin La Vida Loca, which reached #1 in many countries around the world, including the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, Ireland and New Zealand. Livin La Vida Loca is Ricky Martin's biggest hit. The video for Livin La Vida Loca was directed by Wayne Isham and starring model Nina Morick. It was followed by She's All I Ever Had, which peaked at #2 on the Billboard Hot 100. Both tracks peaked at #1 on the Hot Latin Songs. Livin La Vida Loca is generally seen as the song that began the Latin pop explosion of 1999 and made the transition of other Latin artists, first Jennifer Lopez and Enrique Iglesias, then later Shakira, into the English-speaking market easier. Ricky Martin became one of the top-selling albums of 1999, and was certified 7 platinum in the United States, selling over 22 million copies worldwide. In October 1999, Martin embarked on a very successful year-long Livin La Vida Loca tour. After this success, a new English-language album, Sound Loaded, was released in November 2000. It debuted at #4 on the Billboard 200 and was certified 2 platinum by the RIAA. She Bangs and Nobody Wants to Be Lonely, duet with Christina Aguilera, peaked at #12 and 13 on the Billboard Hot 100, respectively. Both singles reached #1 on the Hot Latin Songs. Sound Loaded has sold over 8 million copies worldwide. In February 2001, Martin released a Spanish greatest hits album entitled La Historia, which went to #1 for 5 weeks on the Billboard Top Latin Albums and debuted at #83 on the Billboard 200. It also topped the chart in Sweden for 3 weeks. The album contained reworkings of 2 of his early songs, Fogo Contra Fogo and El Amor de Mi Vida. In November 2001, an English-language greatest hits album, The Best of Ricky Martin, was released outside North America. It contained 2 new remixes of Amor, Almas del Silencio and Life, 2003 to 2006. Ricky Martin in 2005. In May 2003, Martin released a new Spanish album, Almas del Silencio. The first single, Tal Vez, debuted at #1 on the Hot Latin Songs and stayed there for 11 weeks, becoming the best-performing Latin single of the year. Martin said of the new album, "I really needed to go back to focus, to my center, to the beginning. I had the need to search within, and really dig deep, and find those emotions because of the adrenaline and the euphoria that I lived for a couple of years, were probably sabotaged." Almas del Silencio debuted at #12 on the Billboard 200 and reached #1 on the Billboard Top Latin Albums, where it stayed for 6 weeks. The album sold more than 1 million copies worldwide. The next singles, Jaleo and Y Todo Queda and Nada, reached #1 on the Hot Latin Songs. Jaleo also topped the chart in Spain for 4 weeks. In October 2005, Martin released his first English-language album since 2000, Soundloaded, and the 10th album of his career. Most of the songs on the album, called Life, were co-written by Martin. He commented on the album, "I was really in touch with my emotions. I think this album is very multi-layered, just like life is. It's about feeling anger. It's about feeling joy. It's about feeling uncertainty. It's about feeling. And all my emotions are part of this production." The album debuted at #6 on the Billboard 200. The first single from the album, I Don't Care, featured guest appearances by Fat Joe and Amory. It peaked at #3 on the Hot Dance Club Songs and #65 on the Billboard Hot 100. Another song from the album, It's Alright, was re-recorded as a duet with French singer M. Pecora. It was successful in French-speaking countries and reached foreign France. Soon after, Martin announced his One Night Only with Ricky Martin tour, which started in Mexico City on November 15, 2005. After finishing the first leg, which included Latin America and the United States, Martin performed at the 2006 Winter Olympics closing ceremony in Turin. A few days later, he announced the second leg of his world tour, which included Europe and Africa. The second leg started on April 21, 2006 in Manchester, UK, and ended on June 3, 2006 in Tel Aviv, Israel. MTV Unplugged and a World Tour, 2006 to 2007. On August 17, 2006, Ricky Martin taped his MTV Unplugged concert in Miami. This version is strictly for demonstration purposes only. Please contact our sales support team in order to obtain a valid license for commercial use. It premiered on MTV Latin America, MTV Trail 3s and MTV Puerto Rico in October 2006 and was released on CD and DVD in November 2006. The album was a critical and commercial success. It debuted at #1 on the Billboard Top Latin Albums and #38 on the Billboard 200. At the Latin Grammy Awards of 2008, MTV Unplugged received Latin Grammy Award for Best Male Pop Vocal Album and for Best Long-Form Music Video. The first single, Tu Recuerdo, which featured La Mary of Changao, reached #1 for 3 weeks on the Hot Latin Songs. The next single, Pigade, peaked at #6 on the Hot Dance Club Songs. On February 19, 2007, Martin began his worldwide Black and White tour, which started with a performance at the José Miguel Agrelot Coliseum in Puerto Rico and concluded with a presentation at the Madison Square Garden in New York City on October 14, 2007. 76, he also recorded a duet with Eros Ramazzotti, Non Siamo Soli, which topped the Italian chart for 11 consecutive weeks. Career break, 2007 to 2010. After finishing his worldwide tour, Martin took a break from the music industry and focused on his private life. In November 2007, Sony BMG Nord released Ricky Martin Live, Black and White Tour on CD, DVD and Blu-ray disc. 1 year later, a Spanish-language greatest hits album was released, entitled 17. It was a summary of 17 years of Martin's musical career, which included mostly Spanish-language songs. Autobiography, Música plus Alma plus Sexo en Vida, 2010 to 2013. Martin performing in Chicago on April 19, 2011. Ricky Martin's autobiography, Me, was published on November 2, 2010. The book became part of the New York Times bestseller list, debuting at #5 on the hardcover nonfiction list. A Spanish-language edition entitled Yo was published simultaneously. Martin's single, The Best Thing About Me Is You featuring Joss Stone also premiered on November 2, 2010 and peaked at number 74 on the Billboard Hot 100. The Spanish version, Lo Mejor de Mi Vida, airs to top the Hot Latin songs for 2 weeks. It was followed by a new studio album, Música Plus Alma Plus Sexo, released on January 31, 2011. It debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200 and became the highest-charting, primarily Spanish-language album in the United States, since Dreaming of You by Selena. Música Plus Alma Plus Sexo also represents the highest-ever chart debut on the Billboard 200 for a Sony Music Latin release. It spent 2 weeks at number 1 on the Billboard Top Latin Albums. On March 25, 2011, Martin started his Música Plus Alma Plus Sexo World Tour, which ended on November 12, 2011. The second single from the album, Más, was released on April 5, 2011 and peaked at number 7 on the Hot Dance Club Songs. Frio featuring Wisin and Yandel was chosen as the third single. 17 Greatest Hits was released on July 11, 2011 exclusively in the United Kingdom. Ricky Martin was playing Che in the Broadway revival of the show Evita, scheduled to begin previews on Broadway in March 2012, ahead of an opening in April 2012. He received mixed reviews. Martin guest-starred as a Spanish teacher on the Fox TV show Glee episode The Spanish Teacher on February 7, 2012. Martin premiered his Ricky's Lip Conditioner lip balm in April 2012 as part of the MAC Cosmetics Ricky and Nikki for Viva Glam campaign. The advertisements for the range paired him with rapper Nicki Minaj. Martin's signature is featured on the lip balm packaging. The Voice Australia, Come With Me and an Australian Tour, 2013. Martin in 2011. In November 2012, Martin was announced as a coach on The Voice Australia and debuted in the first episode of Season 2. On April 7, 2013 the finale aired on June 17. His finalist was former tenor singer Luke Kennedy. He became runner-up, losing to eventual winner Harrison Craig. In April 2013, Martin released his Greatest Hits, Souvenir Edition album in Australia, where it reached number 2 on the ARIA Albums chart and was certified gold. In June 2013, he released a new English single titled Come With Me. He also embarked on the 2013 Australian tour in October 2013. In February 2014, he appeared with Jennifer Lopez and Wisin on the single and video Adrenalina, taken from Wisin's album El Regreso del Sobreviviente. The album version contained Spanish lyrics, but the single was also made available in a Spanglish version. In April 2014, the single and video were released for Vida, from the FIFA compilation album One Love, One Rhythm, the 2014 FIFA World Cup official album. Here, the album version contained Spanglish lyrics, but the digital EP contained versions in Spanish and Portuguese as well as various dance remixes. The Voice Mexico and Mexican One World Tour, 2014-present. In July 2014, Martin was announced as a coach on The Voice Mexico along with Italian singer Laura Pausini, Mexican pop singer Yuri and Norteño singer Julian Alvarez. The first episode of Season 4 was aired on September 9, 2014. On October 3, 2014, Martin started his Mexican One World Tour on Mexico City, followed by Guadalajara, Monterrey and Ensenada. In November 2014, he was the closing act of the opening ceremony for the 22nd Central American and Caribbean Games Veracruz 2014 inches. Since Martin's debut as a coach on The Voice Australia in 2013, he has continued on in Season 3 in 2014 alongside will.i.am, Kylie Minogue and Joel Madden. He returned to the panel alongside Delta Goodrem. Benji Madden teamed with his brother Joel Madden, and newcomer Jessie J in 2015. Martin released his album A Queen Kira Iskucker in February 2015. It was announced on December 24, 2015, Martin's 44th birthday, that he would not return to The Voice Australia in 2016 and will be replaced by Ronan Keating. On September 22, 2016, Martin released a new song Vent Pa Ka with Colombian singer, Maluma. The song skyrocketed in music charts with over 746 million views on the music video as of April 2017. In November 2016, Martin announced a Las Vegas residency show, All In, which began on April 4, 2017. Musical style: Martin possesses a tenor vocal range. 93. Martin cites a variety of the Latin music genres as influences, including salsa, merengue, and bolero. He also was inspired by artists such as the Fania All-Stars, Celia Cruz, El Gran Combo de Puerto Rico, and Gilberto Santa Rosa, some of which his mother played for him as a child. Martin credits these musicians with helping him appreciate the richness of island's culture. In addition, Martin even thanked his all-time idols, including Michael Jackson, Cher, Madonna, Elvis Presley, Sting, Barbra Streisand, Daniel Day-Lewis. Other media: in November 2013 Martin launched Piccolo Universe, an online community for parents and caregivers from all corners of the world to celebrate and share the joys and struggles of raising kids. Ricky Martin's first children's book, Santiago the Dreamer in Land Among the Stars, was published in November 2013. A Spanish-language edition entitled, Santiago el Sonador en Entre las Estrellas was published simultaneously. The book was illustrated by Patricia Castillo. Personal life: Martin was raised Catholic, but says he is open to all sorts of religious beliefs, especially the Buddhist philosophy. 95. He feels that subscribing to a specific religion can limit an individual in certain aspects, and noted in 2006, "I really like the Buddhist philosophy, but that doesn't mean that I am of a religion. If I subscribe to Buddhism, I can't be of anything else. I am not going to follow those rules." Martin began practicing yoga after a trip to Thailand in 1997. He enjoys surfing, skydiving, and also vacationing in South Asian countries like India and Nepal, partly on account of his interest in yoga and Buddhism. When asked on one occasion about his frequent travel to India and specifically, what brings him back so often, Ricky replied, "India has been an important part of my spiritual growth. Whenever I get the chance, I go to India, and especially visit Puri, Odisha, where I practice yoga. It has helped me a lot in my personal and professional life. I was in Rishikesh, Uttarakhand, last year. I found some great ashrams and spiritual retreats there. I haven't been to Puri since my kids were born." He is the father of twin boys, Matteo and Valentino. "Next time I go there, I will take them along." In his 2010 autobiography Me, Martin describes his long-standing enjoyment of Pringles potato chips, saying, "Whenever I was on the road, I always had a tube of Pringles nearby. They've always been my favorite snack." It was also revealed in the autobiography that the Kellogg Company was in talks with Martin about his participation in a marketing campaign for Pringles, tentatively based off the tagline Livin La Vida Pringles, but no deal was ever reached. In November 2011, he acquired Spanish nationality in recognition of his artistic talents and for having roots in the country. Martin's grandmother is Spanish, and he owns a residence in Madrid. In September 2011 he sold his home in Miami. 98. In a public statement, written in Spanish, Martin explicitly stated that he has not abandoned his Puerto Rican identity. "I was born in Puerto Rico, I am a Puerto Rican, and Puerto Rico is my homeland. I made the request for Spanish citizenship some time ago, I was just waiting for a response. This step is part of planning for the future within a global community of whom I am part. Spain is a country with which I share many memories and strong ties born of my roots and the love they have given me since I first visited." In January 2013, he relocated to Sydney, Australia to accommodate his position on The Voice Australia. Relationships and sexuality: Martin was in an on-off relationship with Mexican TV host Rebecca de Alba for more than 14 years. The pair had spoken of starting a family together, and Martin had at one point considered proposing to her. In August 2008, Martin became the father of twin boys, Matteo and Valentino, born by a surrogate mother. After the success of Livin La Vida Loca, Martin's personal life became a subject of interest due to his large gay following, and he was questioned about his sexual orientation. "You do not have a valid verification file. Please contact our sales support team to obtain a valid license." In a December 2000 interview with The Mirror, Martin was asked to comment on the rumors surrounding his sexuality. He replied that I don't think I should have to tell anyone if I am gay or not, or who I've slept with or not. On March 29, 2010, Martin publicly acknowledged his homosexuality in a post on his official website stating, "I am proud to say that I am a fortunate homosexual man. I am very blessed to be who I am." Martin said that these years in silence and reflection made me stronger and reminded me that acceptance has to come from within, and that this kind of truth gives me the power to conquer emotions I didn't even know existed. In 2010, prior to Martin coming out, Barbara Walters expressed some regret for pushing Martin in a 2000 interview to admit if he was gay. The Toronto Star quoted her as saying, "When I think back on it now, I feel it was an inappropriate question." Martin announced on the Oprah Winfrey Show that he was in a relationship. In 2011, during his acceptance speech of the Vito Russo Award at the 22nd GLAAD Media Awards, Martin publicly thanked his boyfriend, Carlos Gonzalez Abella, an economist. His relationship with Gonzalez Abella ended in January 2014. Martin has also expressed support for same-sex marriage in an interview on Larry King Live, and commented on his experience of being closeted and coming out. "Everything about saying that I'm gay feels right," Martin stated, adding, "If I'd known how good it was going to feel, I would have done it 10 years ago." Ricky Martin delivered a speech at the UN Homophobia Conference on November 12, 2012. Beginning April 2016, he started dating Syrian-Swedish painter J.W.N. Yosef. The two announced their engagement on November 16, 2016 while on the Ellen DeGeneres Show. In 2016, Martin clarified that he is attracted to both men and women, but is only interested in romantic relationships with men, so he does not identify as bisexual. "I know that I like both men and women. I'm against sexual labels. We are simply human beings with emotional and sexual needs," Martin stated in an interview with the Mexican magazine Fama. Martin added that "I'm gay, men fascinate me, but I like to enjoy sex in total freedom, so I'm open to having sex with a woman if I feel desire." Other ventures: humanitarian work. Ricky Martin at a Puerto Rican Day annual parade in New York City. Martin is the founder of Fundación Ricky Martin Foundation, a non-profit organization. Among the events promoted by the foundation was a summer camp, which included Martin's personal participation. Martin has been honored with many accolades for his humanitarian efforts, including Leadership in the Arts Award, Billboard Spirit of Hope Award, Alma Award, Vanguard Award, International Humanitarian Award by the International Center for Missing and Exploited Children, Hispanic Heritage Award for his humanitarian work through the Sabara Foundation in rescuing 3 orphan girls from the streets of Calcutta, September 2002. Martin has also collaborated with the International Organization for Migration on the Lama y Vive, Call and Live, a campaign which is aimed to facilitate prevention of human trafficking, protection of the youngest victims of child trafficking, and prosecution of the traffickers. For his work against human trafficking, the United States Department of State named Martin one of its heroes in ending modern-day slavery in 2005. Logo: the Ricky Martin Foundation was founded by Ricky Martin, with a mission to advocate for the well-being of children around the world. Its primary project is the People for Children Project, which aims to eliminate trafficking of children. Tsunami Relief Fund, together with Habitat for Humanity, Building Homes in Thailand, RMF Summer Camp, Children for Children, Haiti Relief. The foundation also works closely with UNICEF. After the South Asian tsunami in 2004, Ricky Martin visited the site where the disaster happened and was praised and promoted by Oprah Winfrey on Oprah Winfrey Show. In 2005, when Hurricane Katrina invaded United States, he also went to Houston to visit the victims and children. On February 13, 2008, Ricky Martin gave a speech on UN Global Initiative to Fight Human Trafficking in Vienna. Martin and the Ricky Martin Foundation is the driving force behind the parenting website Piccolo Universe. It is a collaborative site that is intended to be a place for parents and caregivers to discover, share, learn, and connect about raising happy kids. Politics. Ricky Martin, mid-right, in Congress, with Luis Fortuno, far-left, Tom Lantos, mid-left, and Chris Smith, far-right. Martin was a headliner in the 2001 inauguration celebration for President George W. Bush. He even invited the newly elected president to join him on stage to dance. This image was captured by photographers and broadcast in various media throughout the world. Martin referred to it in a later song, A Signature Pendant. Martin has since changed his position on the former president. In a concert in Puerto Rico during the song A Signature Pendant, Martin thrust his middle finger disapprovingly in the air while singing the line "Photo with Bush." The gesture met with audience approval but caused a minor controversy with the media. Martin said in an email statement sent to the Associated Press via a spokesman, "My convictions of peace and life go beyond any government and political agenda, and as long as I have a voice on stage and off stage, I will always condemn war and those who promulgate it." During his appearance at the Billboard Latin Music Awards on April 29, 2010, Martin expressed his disagreement with the Arizona SB 1070 Act, a law that requires police officers to request documents from individuals who they suspect to be illegal immigrants. He criticized the law for discriminating against us for the simple fact of looking Latino and further addressed the Latino community by saying, "Long live love, long live peace. You are not alone. We are with you. Put a stop to discrimination. Put a stop to hate. Put a stop to racism." Martin endorsed President Barack Obama for his re-election campaign by hosting a fundraiser with the president in New York on May 21, 2012. He endorsed the president for declaring his support for same-sex marriage. Discography, main articles, Ricky Martin albums discography, Ricky Martin singles discography, and Ricky Martin videography, with Menudo, Evolution, 1984, Menudo, 1985, Irwahoy, 1985, A Festa Vai Começar, Portuguese, 1985, Viva Bravo, Italian, 1986, Refrescante, 1986, Menudo, Portuguese, 1986, Can't Get Enough, 1987, Somos los Hijos del Rock, 1987, In Action, English Tagalog, 1988, Sons of Rock, 1988, Sombras y Figuras, 1988, Silhouetted, Menudo Despedida. Ricky Martin, 1990, Ricky Martin, 1991, Mi Amoras, 1993, El Medio Viver, 1995, Vuelve, 1998, Ricky Martin, 1999, Sound Loaded, 2000, Almas del Silencio, 2003, Life, 2005, Musica Plus Alma Plus Sexo, 2011. A Queen Kira Iskucker, 2015, Filmography, 1985, The Love Boat, TV series, as Ricky, 1987, Por Siempre Amigos, Argentina TV series, as Ricky, 1991, Alcanzar una Estrella 2, TV series, as Pablo Laredo, 1992, Mas que Alcanzar una Estrella as Enrique, 1993, Getting Y, TV series, as Martin, 1994, General Hospital, TV series, as Miguel Moras, 1994-95, 1996, Barefoot in Paradise, TV series, as Sandoval, 1997, Hercules, Latin American dub, voice role, as Hercules, 1999, Idol. Hands as Man in Car Park, 2000, MAD-TV, TV series, as himself, 2006, Sesame Vida, Argentina TV series, as himself, 2011, The Oprah Winfrey Show, guest, 2011, Susana Jimenez, guest, 2011, American Dad. As himself, uncredited, 2012, Glee, TV series, as David Martinez, 2013, The Voice Australia as himself, Coach, 2014, Dancing with the Stars, TV series, as himself, Judge, 2014, The Voice Australia as himself, Coach, 2014, La Voz. Mexico as himself, Coach, 2014, The Voice Arabia as himself, Guest Judge, 2015, Minions, Latin American dub, voice role, as Herb Overkill, 2015, The Voice Australia as himself, Judge, 2015, La Banda as himself, Judge and Executive Producer, 2015, Nuestra Belleza Latina 2015 as himself, Celebrity Guest, 2018, Versace American Crime Story as Antonio D'Amico, Theater, Les Miserables, 1996, Broadway, Marius, Evita, 2012, Broadway, Che, Tours Edit, main article, list of Ricky Martin concert tours, Ricky Martin Tour, 1992, Mia Mara's Tour, 1993-94. Amedio Viver Tour, 1995-97, Vuil World Tour, 1998, Livin La Vida Loca Tour, 1999-2000, One Night Only with Ricky Martin, 2005-06, Black and White Tour, 2007, Musica Plus Alma Plus Sexo World Tour 127, 2011, Ricky Martin Live, 2013-14, One World Tour, 2014-16, Honors and Awards. See also, List of awards and nominations received by Ricky Martin. Martin was chosen along with Felix Trinidad in 1999, to lead Puerto Rico's worldwide tourism campaign, both exemplifying Puerto Rico's youthfulness, enthusiasm and indefatigable character. In February 2004, Martin received a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Lo Nuestro Awards in Miami. Martin was honored as the 2006 Latin Recording Academy Person of the Year by the Latin Recording Academy on November 1, 2006. He was chosen for his accomplishments as a world-renowned entertainer, consummate performer and passionate humanitarian. A portion of the proceeds from the evening's tribute dinner was used for benefiting Ricky Martin's charitable efforts. On October 16, 2007, Martin received the 2,351st Hollywood Walk of Fame star, shortly after receiving the key to the city of Miami Beach, Florida on October 11. The star is located beside the Hollywood and Highland Complex. Los Angeles Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa and Rita Moreno were invited to the unveiling ceremony. In 2008, Puerto Rico declared August 31 to be International Ricky Martin Day. In 2011, Martin was awarded Spanish citizenship to honor his contributions to the arts. In addition to the numerous awards received throughout his musical career, Martin has also been honored with many accolades for his humanitarian efforts. Thanks for watching the video. My channel regularly posts new videos. Remember to subscribe to watch and share videos if you see a great video, and to thank you. Since its release, the song has sold over 8 million copies, making it one of the best-selling singles of all time. His first English-language album, also titled Ricky Martin, has sold 22 million copies and is one of the best-selling albums of all time. His other studio albums include Mi Amores, 1993, Amedio Viver, 1995, Vuil, 1998, Sound Loaded, 2000, Almas del Silencio, 2003, Life, 2005, Musica Plus Alma Plus Sexo, 2011, and A Queen Kira Iskucker, 2015. Life and Career. Early life, 1971 to 1983, Martin was born on December 24, 1971, in San Juan, Puerto Rico, the son of Nerita Morales, an accountant, and Enrique Martin Negroni, a psychologist. He was the second youngest sibling. His parents divorced when he was 2 years old, and Martin spent much of his childhood shifting between his father's home in the suburbs of University Gardens, a suburban middle-class neighborhood of San Juan, and his paternal grandmother's house nearby. The truth about singer Ricky Martin. Enrique Martin Morales, born December 24, 1971, commonly known as Ricky Martin, is a Puerto Rican singer, actor and author. Martin began his career at age 12 with the all-boy pop group Menudo. After 5 years with the group, he released several Spanish-language solo albums throughout the 1990s. He also acted on stage and on TV in Mexico, becoming a modest star in the country. In 1994 he starred on the American TV soap opera General Hospital, playing a Puerto Rican singer. In early 1999, after releasing several albums in Spanish, Martin performed The Cup of Life at the 41st Grammy Awards show, which became a catalyst in bringing Latin pop to the forefront of the U.S. music scene. Following its success, Martin released Livin La Vida Loca, which helped him obtain enormous success worldwide and is generally seen as the song that began the Latin pop explosion of 1999 and made the transition easier for other Spanish-speaking artists to move into the English-speaking market. Puerto Rican television commercials for products such as soft drinks, toothpaste, and fast food restaurants. In a year and a half, he starred in 11 commercials. Menudo, 1984–1990. Menudo Rayo de Luna, 1984, Menuoo. At age 13, Martin made his recording debut on the song Rayo de Luna, from Menudo's 1984 album, Evolution. Problems playing this file? See Media Help. After achieving a small amount of fame in Puerto Rico for his work in television commercials, Martin auditioned for membership in Puerto Rican boy band Menudo. Although the executives enjoyed his dancing and singing at his first 2 auditions, Martin was rejected because he was too short. By the 3rd audition, his persistence impressed executives, and in 1984, 12-year-old Martin became a member. A month after joining Menudo, he made his debut performance with the group at the Luis A. Fair Performing Arts Center in San Juan. During this performance, he inadvertently disobeyed the choreography by walking around the stage when it was planned that he would stay still, and was chastised by the band manager after that. Martin has 2 older maternal half-brothers, Fernando and Angel Fernandez, and 2 older paternal half-brothers, Eric and Daniel Martin, and a younger paternal half-sister, Vanessa Martin. 8. Martin, in an interview with Vanity Fair, described his origins as Spanish, with Basque and Jewish ancestry from his great-grandparents, plus some Corsican through his paternal grandmother. Martin grew up in a Roman Catholic home and was an altar boy throughout his childhood. He began singing at age 6, using wooden kitchen spoons as pretend microphones. He often interpreted songs by Menudo as well as English-language rock groups such as Led Zeppelin, Journey, and Rio Speedwagon. His mother's side of the family was musically inclined, and his maternal grandfather was a poet, which inspired young Martin to write songs. Martin later reflected on his time spent with his family as a child. Every time I find myself in front of an audience, be it 20 people or 100,000, once again I feel the energy that consumed me back at the family gatherings of my youth. After discovering a newspaper advertisement about auditions for commercials with his father, 9-year-old Martin began appearing in Puerto Rico. The mistake was such a big deal that from that moment on, never again did I move when I wasn't supposed to move. That was the discipline of Menudo. You either did things the way you were told or you were not part of the group. The song Asignatura Pendiente from Almas del Silencio, 2003, was inspired by the first time Martin left Puerto Rico to tour with Menudo. Although Martin enjoyed traveling and performing on stage with Menudo, he found the band's busy schedule and strict managing to be exhausting, and later reflected that the experience cost him his childhood. He considered leaving the group while on tour in Brazil, but ultimately decided to stay out of fear of media backlash and being sued for breach of contract. Martin also began struggling with his sexuality, noting the stark contrast between his status as a sex symbol and his own emotions. Despite this, Martin acknowledged his opportunity to have so many amazing experiences with so many amazing people during his time with the group. He developed an interest in philanthropy when the group became UNICEF ambassadors, often working with impoverished children in third-world countries. His experiences as an ambassador affected him greatly and inspired him